All right, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another awesome episode of the Ashcast Show every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure you go to the ashcastshow.com to subscribe to our podcast. Make sure you go to ashcasttv.com to subscribe to our channel so you can see it live and get notifications every time we go live. Also, on the ashcastshow.com, there are special bonuses that we drop every Saturday. So last Saturday, we dropped the episode with my guy, A. Donahue Baker. I promise you, that episode was so full of gems. In fact, it initially started out as a IG live that we did together, but it was so much gems that I was like, all right, I gotta throw this on there as a bonus. So go to the ashcastshow.com and make sure you listen to that episode. It is so powerful. Video is coming soon. Yeah, and so welcome. You know, again, make sure you are sharing, liking. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Our audience is growing. And so I love that. I appreciate y'all for really like getting the word out. So continue to do that. Yeah, man, subscribe, support the show. There's just so much that needs to be done. So I appreciate y'all. All right, cool. So let's start. You know, as you know, if it's your first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us. If you're back, then I appreciate you for coming back. So as you know, the show starts off with number one, an inspirational word. Number two, then we go through the news, and then number three, we open it up for any questions that you guys may have. If you have any questions, please start early. You can go to so if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Periscope, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, you can actually put your comments right in the bottom. And if you put your comments in the bottom, then I'll be able to see your questions. If you're watching on Instagram, then start to put your questions in the question box. All right, let me just go over here real quick. I just want to make sure that I am all right. So we goodmoney.com. All right, let's see. Let me just make sure we still rocking. All right, cool. And then and so make sure that wait, hold on. I think I might have did something on the other side. Let's see. I might have stopped my stream. Hold on for 1 second. All right, there we go. So we back to live action. All right, cool. So let's start with, I just want to get my chat box up. Just so that we are able to see the chats as people are joining. So let's go. All right, cool. So good morning. All right, cool. All right, so let's start with an inspirational word of the day. All right, so I mean, honestly, this is my inspirational day. My inspirational word of the day, right? And excuse my language for those ahead of time. So I post something last night that says, shout out to all the people trying to deal with their own shit on top of all this shit, right? And I'll be honest. So I had, I think last week, Jasmine Waters, Jazz Fly, had, there was reports that she passed away, and nobody knew the cause of death. And I later found out that the cause of death is being ruled a suicide, right, by hanging. And that hit me different, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know Jazz personally, like we never spoke, so I didn't know her personally, but I knew who she was because around 2011, when I was writing for allhiphop.com, all the hip hop journalists, like we all kind of were in the same circles, in a way. Not in a way, but we were all in the same circles. So, I knew who she was because she was in that, I think she wrote for Vibe at the time. So, we were all within the same circles. So I knew who she was. And so it hit me. I was like, man, so when I found out that she actually passed away through, it's being deemed a suicide, I was like, man, and it was I think one of the last posts that she posted on Twitter was something about like, you know, being sheltered in place and having anxiety and having to deal with that. And it was you know, again, it was disheartening. So that's why I posted that, because even internally, like in my household, my wife and I have conversations all the time about, you know, our mental health, right? Like our mental health, meaning that there's times that, you know, she'll wake up and like, yo, I'm not doing okay. You know what I'm saying? And even for me, you know, like there's times that I feel like, man, you know, it's crazy because I hate labeling this whole you're a strong guy and all that stuff, because strength, you know what I mean, strength only goes but so far, right? Like you know, think about it. The stronger you are, the easier it is to break. Right? Think about that for a second. The stronger you are, the easier it is to break. Think about a you know, like I don't know what they name it, but like it's like those trees that, you know, when the wind is, you know, when the wind is going fast, it's bendable, right? And so really when it storms, it really doesn't break as much. I don't know the name of it, right? But it's one of those trees that is not as solid, right? It's not as solid as like a tree that's normally up there. It you know, if the wind passes real strong, it's gonna move with the wind, right? And then when you have like a palm tree, thank you, Miss Whitfield, Lacole, thank you, right? A palm tree. The palm tree is solid, but it's still bendable, right? But then you have the strong trees that are super duper strong, been there for years, like, you know, like really, really strong. And if the wind is too strong, the elements are too strong, it will break that tree in half, right? And I know in our society, we are being taught that we should be like the tree, like the tree that stands up, the hard tree, the tough tree. But at the end of the day, you want to be like the palm tree, because at the end of the day, you know, no matter how strong you are, if you're too strong, you could break. But if you're a palm tree, as things start to happen, you allow, you know, you could bend through the stuff and get through it. And especially black people, black, brown, any minority group that's been in this country that has to deal with oppression every day, that has to be on offense every day, right? Or defense every day, right? Because think about this, you know, and I forget who said this, but think about this. There are some people who come out of this world and they on offense all the time. The ball is always in their hand. They're in offense. They ain't gotta worry about defense. If they score, they get the ball back. But there's some of us, you know, again, majority black and brown people, who are always on defense. Always gotta, you know what I mean? If I go out, you know, and this is honest, if I go out, I gotta make sure, what neighborhood I'm in. Do I gotta protect myself or you know what I'm saying? Like friend or foe, like I'm always on defense. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the way it is. I could act like nah, I'm good, but at the end of the day, you know, it's just the way the world is right now, you know? And so those of us who have to deal with that all the time, sometimes it just gets tiring to have to put up this facade of being strong, of like, nah, nothing could break me, I got this. I cry. Yo, I'm a big dude, yo. I'm 280 pounds, 600, 6'3", big black dude. Like, I'm one of the strongest people, meaning physically, that you will ever meet in your life. They call me Shaq when I play ball for a reason, right? Do your research. It's a fact. I'm one of the strongest guys you'll ever meet. I cry. I cry in front of my wife. I cry in front of my daughter. I cry in the car alone. Because at the end of the day, like I want to be the palm tree. I go through a lot. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, I want everybody, I got a lot of likes, a lot of comments, a lot of people who are saying, yo, it's tough out here, right? So again, shout out to all the people trying to deal with their own shit on top of this shit. This is a lot. Do not kid yourself. It's okay to not be okay. Like, feel your shit is what I'm saying, right? Feel your shit. Do not get to a point where you're trying to be so tough. Do not get to a point where you're trying to be so tough that you break. Be a palm tree. Feel your shit. Feel the wind. Go through it. I promise I have, because the thing is this, right? And I'm going to tell you why I had to be so tough, right? Growing up, I had to be tough because if you show weakness, then people could take advantage of you. That's what we were taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was taught that. So, I'm not crying. You know what I'm saying? You cry, like, people know, you know what I'm saying, how to get to you and they could take advantage and all that, right? But now it's like, it's one of those things, it's one of the worst things that we could do to our mental health. One of the worst things you could do to your mental health. Yeah, and honestly, I realized this before COVID. I realized this last year when my mom passed away. It's like it was one of the toughest things I ever went through emotionally. I remember the first time I boo-hooed in front of my daughter. You know, I was driving her to school and I just thought about my mom and I just started bawling. I'm talking about bawling, boo-hooing. So I got this 11-year-old looking at me like she don't know what to do. Call her mom like, yo, dad, you know what I mean? Like, she didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And at first I was embarrassed. I'm like, damn, like, why this had to happen now? Like, why this had to happen in front of my daughter? Like, you know, I want to be this tough, you know what I'm saying? But then I realized that it was good. It was good, though, right? I'm happy it happened because now, like, I'm not teaching her this negative, false sense of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, teaching her, like, yo, just, just go out to the world and it's, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be tough all the time, you know? And so that's it. That's my inspirational word of the day, is to really feel your shit. Feel your shit. It's okay. It's okay to feel happy. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be up. It's okay to be down. You know, and I quote this saying all the time. It's two sayings that I quote all the time. And number one is from Curtis Jackson. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain, right? And I realized that. Like, whenever I'm feeling down, if it's exhilarating to feel up, and so contrast is okay. Like, imagine just being up all the time, right? Imagine that. And some people might say, damn, feeling up all the time is good, but it's dangerous. Because feeling up all the time, that one moment that you're down could cost you your life. And then you'll never have up days again, right? And so feel your stuff, right? Understand that contrast is okay. And then in the other words of the Honorable Sean Carter, sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. As long as you stay the same, it'll come back around. And what I'm learning is I am getting to a space where I'm not looking for this high and I'm not looking for the low. I'd rather stay in the middle, right? Because no one tax stop said it's all temporary. Absolutely. All of it, though. The ups are temporary. The downs are temporary. I want to stay in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to stay in the middle. Does that mean that when I have high moments, I don't enjoy them? Absolutely not. I love the high moments. Does that mean that when I have low moments, I don't feel the low moments? No, I feel those. But at the end of the day, for me, I feel like, and for everybody, stay in the middle. Because that way you're not too dependent on staying high and you're not down on yourself when you hit low. Right? The middle is good. It gives you that contrast. It gives you that ability to move, and then now you're more in control in the middle than you are on top or on bottom. Think about that for a second, right? Think about that. If you're in the middle, then you got room to go up. If you're in the middle, then you could go down, but you won't. It's not is not the end. But if you stay at the bottom, where else can you go? And unfortunately, that's how people lose their lives and take their lives, because they stay at the bottom too long. Nah, get back up to the middle, right? And then if you all the way at the top, right? Not saying, like, I mean, if you're all the way at the top and you're trying to stay there, then that fall, right? That fall hits harder. You know what I'm saying? If you try to stay there, so I would say stay at the middle. So, that is my word for the day. Let's get to the show. All right. So in market news, we continue to see a roller coaster ride as it relates to the market. So the market year-to-date performance, you have NASDAQ year-to-date is up 6.87%. S&P 500 is down 5.86% year-to-date. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 10.28%. Gold is up 14.3%. 10-year Treasury is down 121.6 basis points. We have oil is down 40.27%. And so the economy, I watch Robert Kaplan, who is the Dallas Fed president, say that the systemic racism and high unemployment among minority communities, it hurts the economic growth in the U.S. And so I think he says, and so I think we're right to focus on this and bore in on this, right? He said, and so I think you got to keep that in mind, right? As majority consumers in this country, if the minority folks, if there continues to be this inequality, if there continues to be high unemployment and systemic racism, it actually does hurt the economy. So I agree with that. Again, global stocks plunge as fears of a coronavirus surge grow in the U.S. and China. So global stocks plunged on Monday as the United States and China grapple with new coronavirus outbreaks, signaling that pandemic isn't done wreaking havoc on a global economy. The Dow futures plunged more than 800 points, or 3.2, extending losses ahead of the opening bell. S&P 500 futures dropped 3%, and NASDAQ futures were down 2.3%. Markets across Asia also recorded steep declines, after Beijing recorded a fresh cluster of the virus originating in the city's largest wholesale food markets. The Chinese capital has recorded 79 new cases since a locally transmitted infection was reported last Friday for the first time in nearly 2 months. China also reported concerning economic data suggesting that recovery in the world's second largest economy is progressing slowly. So keep in mind that the coronavirus is still wreaking havoc. A lot of places are opening up, but it's that up and down. It's that unsurety that is allowing people are still confused or not sure which way the economy is going to go. Over the weekend, there was another death of a unarmed black person, and so Rayshard Brooks, the medical examiner, is saying that Rayshard Brooks, the police shooting was a homicide, so it's being called a homicide. And the death of Rayshard Brooks, a black man killed by white police officers in Atlanta on Friday, was a homicide caused by gunshot wounds to the back. The Fulton County Medical Examiner Office has said, as the U.S. headed into a fourth week of unrest over police violence. An autopsy conducted on Sunday showed that Brooks, who was 27, died from blood loss and organ injuries caused by 2 gunshot wounds. An investigator for the medical examiner said in a statement, the manner of his death was homicide, the statement said. Brooks' death rained protests in Atlanta after days of worldwide demonstrations against racism and police brutality, prompted by the death of George Floyd. And so, I'm in Atlanta, so I wasn't outside. I'm not gonna try to act like I was outside when I was in the house. But by the pictures and the people that I'm connected with, it was First of all, I didn't watch. Again, I tell y'all why I don't watch videos. So I haven't watched the video of what happened. I did by mistake, right, scrolling up in Instagram. I did see the beginning, one of the other officers' camera, where he was, when he was showing, you could see like it was like a friendly conversation. The guy didn't seem, Rayshard didn't seem belligerent, anything. It felt like a friendly conversation, and so I feel like, again, I didn't watch the video, but from the coroner, medical examiner, definitely unwarranted. There is this thought process around, why do you need guns and being violent for domestic type of stuff, right? Like, think about this. Like, he was sleeping in a driveway of a Wendy's, and so why, that's true, right? So why him sleeping in a car warranted force? But I laugh because Mello, and this is great insight, right? Mello D1 for you says, when you say unarmed, we are saying it's a crime for a black man to carry gun. It is not. It is as if he was armed. Then there's a reason to shoot. We have to change it up. I agree, and I appreciate that commentary, because that's true. It is true. Armed or unarmed, he did not pose a threat, and language is very important. So I'm gonna say that. So I'm gonna stop saying that, right? Unarmed, because in the case of, let's say, Philando Castile, right? Philando was armed, but he did not pose a threat to the cop, right? And he did not pose a threat. In fact, what he told the cop that he was armed and was looking for his gun license to give to him, and they still killed him. And so I agree, and as somebody who is in a carry state, I accept that 100%. So we're not gonna say armed or unarmed, legally armed. He did not pose a threat, because I've seen situations where people who are not black, pose a threat and they still don't get killed. They still live to tell another day. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that insight. All right. In other news, Dr. Fauci says normalcy may not return until next year following COVID-19 case spikes. And so a return to normalcy following the COVID-19 pandemic could come within a year, but people need to tamp down their expectation for typical summer travel and activities. Dr. Anthony Fauci told British newspaper The Telegraph in a story published on Sunday. The latest time frame comes on the heels of a week that saw the national case count cross 2 million. Cases have increased in 18 states over the past week, with 6 states reporting more than a 50% jump. This has led some government and health officials to hit pause on reopening efforts. More than 115,000 people have died in the United States as of early this morning, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. I'm kind of torn as it relates to this, because I was watching the David Banner podcast, which is a dope podcast, by the way. So if you're not a fan, or if you haven't tuned in yet, I would. So I was watching the David Banner podcast. He talked about his decision. So he continued to still have the podcast. His staff comes in, and he pays them, right? And so he talks about what his decision amid COVID-19 to continue his operations was like, yo, I'd rather die from COVID-19 than to die from being broke and not being able to eat, right? And I thought about that, and that's what's making me torn, because as these protests continue, as people are still going out and they're around people, and people are contracting and things of that nature, I do think about the people who don't have a choice, where meaning that not being able to go out and make money in a capitalistic society can be life and death. You know what I'm saying? So like if you don't have capital, if you don't have money, then you're really putting your family and your life in jeopardy. But then if you go out, you're putting your family, your life in jeopardy. And so it's like, it's a I don't want to say the greater of two evils, because I hate that saying, but it's almost like that. It's almost like the greater of two evils. Like I gotta choose. Like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die from a health thing, or am I gonna die from not eating? Right. And so I feel like, and again, that's why I'm torn, because I feel like, because the virus is an immune system kind of virus, that if you're healthy, that there should be ways for you to pick up your immune system. So don't go back to normal, but if you just take precautions, but still find a way to stimulate the economy, right? Because if you think about it, it's, they're saying 45 million people are out of jobs, right? That's 1 in 4, right? That's 1 in 4 working Americans. And so if 1 in 4 working Americans are out of jobs, imagine if there's a second wave and then they decide to close down again. Like that's going to be travesty to the economy, to the point where I can't even imagine what that would look like from a chaos perspective. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm torn. You know what I mean? I'm torn, definitely torn between the two. Like, man, should we open up or should we continue to lock down? Especially when you think about like other pandemics, like the Spanish flu or all these different things, where this is the first time there's ever been any lockdown. So I'm starting to be torn behind that. Let's see. Yeah. So I saw some people say wear mask. Jared Robinson Boxing says right on. Healthy immune system, no mask. Yeah, I understand why they're saying to wear mask, and that's why I make I make it my business to stay away from people. If I'm out, like the fam and I will go to the park, or if I go to like a Walmart or whatever, I'll briefly wear a mask, but I don't think that's healthy. I'll be honest, because when I'm walking around wearing a mask, I feel lightheaded, and so I'm like, how is not getting oxygen to the brain the natural way, how is that helping in this case? I don't think it's helping. I think it's breaking down your immune system. So I'm not a fan for the mask. Please be safe. I understand how they're saying it helps the most vulnerable population. If you have a vulnerable if you have somebody in your family that's in the vulnerable population, I think that they should be in the house. Like I don't think a mask is helping with your immune system. I think it's breaking it down. Like I want to breathe fresh air, and that's why I go to the park. Like a lot of times, we in the park around trees. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that natural H2O. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that natural, not H2O, that's water. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't, we should have said, was it carbon? Whatever. The oxygen. What's oxygen? H2O is water, right? So what's oxygen? I don't know. But I'm not breaking down that immune system. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's weakening it. So I wear a mask briefly. Like there's some spots I go to that be like you can't come in without a mask. So I'll wear, and actually I'll be tricking them. Oh, O2, yeah. I'll be tricking them. I wear the mask, and then once I get in, I just pull it over, like I take it over my nose, cause I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't doing that. Let me see. So it say Reginald says if you are in the masses around a lot of people, then briefly wearing it, I understand, but otherwise don't. Yeah. So I'm definitely not around as much people as I try to stay away from people. You must wear a mask when you are around people like the grocery stores and malls and outlets. Yeah, so like when I'm like even when I'm in the grocery stores, I'll be honest with you. Even when I'm in the grocery stores, I'll have it on, but I'm not I'm telling you I'll throw it under my nose. So maybe like from my mouth, pause. I'm not like spewing nothing or whatever, but I feel like I want fresh air, and I feel like I work out, you know what I'm saying? I go out, you know what I mean? I move, and I think that's building my immune system better than wearing a mask. 100 grams of sugar taken in the body at once shuts down the immune system for up to 4 hours. Have you walking around like an AIDS patient? People are wearing masks but not eating right. Exactly. Right? So my guy Jared's like, yo, you'll wear a mask, but you'll still not eat right. Right? My guy said 100 grams of sugar will shut down the immune system like 4 hours. So, like, come on. Like, do the things that are going to build your immune system. Take your black seed oil. Take your sea moss, right? Take your Wonder Days. You know what I mean? Exercise, like, you know. All right. In other news, so Joe Biden is narrowing his list of candidates to be vice president. 4 black women are in the contention. And so Democratic presidential contender Joe Biden has narrowed down his list of vice president candidates, and it features several black women. Sources close to Biden's campaign told the Washington Post that several candidates had now made it to the stage of comprehensive vetting to be Biden's potential running mate. Among the names of the list are Senator Kamala Harris of California, former National Security Advisor Susan Rice, Florida Rep. Val Demings, and Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom. All 4 women are African American. Also on the list, according to the Post, is Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, who's white, and Michelle Lujan Grisham, governor of New Mexico, who is a Latina. And so I think, I don't have an opinion on that. The more and more I look at politics, I do not fall for the shiny objects. Can he pick Barack Obama? I wonder if he can do that, right, as vice president, right? But even with that, like, I'll be honest, I've been doing a lot of reading. I've been doing a lot of reading on politics, on policies, on things of that nature, and a lot of the stuff is the same, right? I think we fall for shiny objects too much. And please forgive me for sounding. I mean, don't even forgive me. This is my truth. Do not forgive me. This is my truth, right? We fall for shiny objects, and I can say this because we family. You know what I'm saying? You know how you could talk about your family, but if somebody from the outside talk about your family is a problem, so I could talk about us because we family, right? So somebody else can't say this, but I can say this, right? We fall for shiny objects. Like, to be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know how politics work. You know, if you put stuff on paper, if you spend money, that's how you get stuff done. The government is run by big business, period. And so as long as we're not pooling our money together and buying, right, everything's for sale, right? If we're not buying our way to freedom, if we're not taking our freedom, then I don't care who's in the office. We had 8 years of Barack Obama. And after 8 years, things are worse, right, after he left. You can't say that you can't say that the president did all of this really quick. Like he could unban 8 years in a matter of 1 to 2 years. Nah, can't do that, because a lot of stuff, like what was on paper, right? Like what was on paper. And so when you think about laws and things that are put on paper, that's what matters, right? What is on paper. And so at the end of the day, the mayor painted Black Lives Matter on the ground. I get it. But like, it's a shiny object to me. Because at the end of the day, and I'm going to drop this episode. I had a conversation with Sean Rochester. If you never read the book Black TACS, it's important to read it. Pick it up ASAP. And, Sean talks about, shiny objects. And he talks about, like, listen, is it creating jobs, right? So when we think about these policies, or we think about things that we're fighting for, number one, is it creating new jobs? Is it building more businesses? Or is it giving us access to capital, right? If it's not doing that, then it's a shiny object. And I'm going to read something. My guy Odell sent this to me, right? My guy Odell, fast shout to Odell. My guy Odell Bizzle sent this to me, right? So Odell sent me this post, and he asked me my thoughts on it. And he said, to Black Lives Matter supporters, he said, the post says, your advocacy is misinformed and harmful. You conflate saving black lives to solving co-racism through its account for under 90 deaths a year and undermines the truth. Our nation's legacy and institutional racism lives on, but it's within federal housing policies that redlined and disenfranchised black and immigrant families into urban ghettos, low-performing schools, food deserts, where today poverty is multi-generational and upwards of 10,000 murders occur per year at the hands of our own. The civil rights issue of our time is economic mobility, not racism. I agree 1,000%. I agree 1,000%. I think not to belittle or talk down to the movement of what's going on, but at the end of the day, I appreciate everybody who's out there who is putting their lives on the line to bring light to police brutality, to systemic racism, all that stuff. But if that fight does not create new jobs, if it does not create new black businesses, and if it does not allow those black businesses to hire people, right? Not just, I just started a business, now I'm a black-owned business. No. Can you hire people? Are you hiring people? Can you produce jobs? Do you have access to capital? If those things aren't happening, then it's a shiny object. If painting Black Lives Matter in D.C. so we could say that the president lives at 1600 Black Lives Matter Plaza, if that's a win, it's a shiny object to me. Joe Biden getting a black person, a black woman as a VP, shiny object. Unless it equates to those three things I said, right? And Sean talks about this more eloquently, so look out for that, right? It's economic. This is an economic fight, right? So talking about economics, right? Right now, for instance, there's a debate that's happening, right, over the relief funds. And so Americans without a job get an extra $600 a week in unemployment benefits from the federal government. And that was part of the package, a $2.2 trillion package. And so you have the White House economic advisor, Larry Kudlow, who's saying that, we need to stop that, right? We need to stop, having these economic packages. And so he's saying that the extra $600 creates a disincentive for Americans to get a job, right? He said, we're paying people not to work. It's better than their salaries would get, right? He said that to Jake Tapper, CNN. And he said the jobs are coming back, and we don't want to interfere with that process. Think about that. You can think about it in two ways, right? You can think about it one way that says, he's right. Because truth be told, behind the scenes, I've been having conversations with people who heard people say, I'm not going back to work, right? I'm not going back to work because I get paid more for not being in work. Like, I literally heard somebody quit their job because they get more in unemployment than they do going back to work. And so on one hand, he's right. If you keep giving them this money, it's not an incentive to go back to work. But here's the trick of it, right? And I don't know what people's situation is, right? But $600 a week equals, right, $1,200 every 2 weeks, $2,400 a month, right? So you're telling me, and I don't know what $2,400 a month equals, But people are, if you are getting paid more than $2,400 a month, let me do the math real quick. Right, let me do the math real quick. So if you're getting paid $2,400 a month, right, 2,400 times 12, which means that's $28,000 a year. And so if somebody's getting paid $28,000 a year, and they rather get paid $28,000 than go back to work, what does that say about their work? We need to get paid more. You can't eat off of $28,000 a year. Hey yo, in New York, if you make $40,000, you're still low income, and that's with one person. I talk about one person makes 40 grand a year in New York, you're considered low income. So imagine if you got a family. And so Mr. Kudlow, Larry Kudlow, you want to cut this off, but if you're cutting that off to get the people back on the plantation, I mean, to jobs, right? If you're doing that, then like raise the wages. Like raise the wages. Stop trying to hurry up and get people back on their jobs. You know what I'm saying? So from one aspect, I get it, but from the other aspect, it's like, all right, what we doing? All right, last story, then I'll open it up for questions. NBA players are now questioning. Oh no, you know what I want to do? I do want to talk about Kanye real quick, right? So Kanye West reportedly starting a cosmetic line with toothpaste, body oils, fake eyelashes, and more. And so according to Hip Hop DX, given his wife and sister-in-law's multitude of claims of multi-million-dollar empires through the beauty world, it could be potentially be classified as clockwork news that Kanye is starting his own cosmetic brand. And so TMZ reported on Sunday, June 14th, they obtained legal documentation proving Kanye recently filed a trademark, a diverse offering of beauty, hair, and skincare products for every gender. This includes a laundry list of makeup, false eyelashes, facial masks, nail polish, moisturizers, bath gels, body oils, shaving cream, hair and product perfumes, which all assemble underneath a yet announced Yeezy line. And so fast shout to Yeezy. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is, so Elegant Eleanor said, did you find out if you have more Kanye books? Kanye is a riot. At least he's busy and always So yes, so I did find more books, right? And so if y'all know, right? So last week I said that I sent it out to my email list I sent it to my email list and on social media that I had Kanye books that weren't selling. Making Sense of Kanye. It's a great book, especially nowadays. I think that we need it. And so the book sold out immediately. I had 200 copies. Yo, people went and got them out. You know what I'm saying? And so I did, I cleaned out my garage. I found another box. So I have 80 copies, right? I have 80 copies left of my Making Sense of Kanye book that I'm giving away for free. And I'm telling y'all first, before I post it on social media, I'm telling y'all first that if you go to shop.mindrightmoney.com, not now, I'm going to do it at 9 a.m., like 9:05, once I get off. At 9 a.m., right? So this is what you got to do. First come, first serve. And please, like, some people have ordered more than one copy. Please just, like, be considerate. Like, order just one copy, please. I get it that you want to gift it or whatever the case may be. So here's the deal. If you do order one, or even if you order one copy and it's free, I got other books. Like, y'all can support a brother too. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can support a brother. Y'all can buy my other books as well. Don't just get the free book and not support the other books. But if you're going to order more than one copy of a free book, right? If you're going to say, yo, give me two. Yo, I had somebody order 5 copies. And I get it. You ordered 5 because you was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me get. Oh, matter of fact, so I had somebody I know ordered like 4 copies. She good though, because she's bought every single book that I've ever put out. And so if I'm giving you 4 copies of a free book, I'm cool with that, right? But, and I'm not, and again, it's not no guilt trip because the books are free. If you buy a book, right, if you go, so at 9 a.m. or 9:05, I'm going to go into my Shopify and I'm going to update the inventory. So right now, if you go there right now, right, shop.mindrightmoney.com, right? If you go to shop.mindrightmoney.com, you will see that it says sold out. Literally at 9:05, I'm going to update the inventory. And when I update the inventory, I will then, it will be available and you could get it. It's free. All you got to do is pay for shipping. That's it. So at 9:05, maybe 9 a.m., because once I get off, I'm going to update the inventory. Once I get off, I'm going to update. I got 80 copies only. And so 80 copies of the book go on there. I'm going to post it on social media as well. But because y'all rock with me, I'm gonna give y'all first dibs. I'm going to let y'all go. All right, so let me type the website. So I'm going to type it. So it's shop. Let's see. Some people I know are doing exactly that, and all of the extra funds are going to Walmart and Amazon. Shop.mindrightmoney.com. So I'm gonna put that in that link. And let me see. Yes, I bought 5 books this weekend. Would like the free book. Yes, one fun girl. Yo, go. Like if you bought 5 books this weekend, please go to. I'm gonna put it right here. Look, go to shop.mindrightmoney.com. The link is in my bio as well. If you're watching on I'm gonna pin this one instead so y'all can get it. So shop.mindrightmoney.com. Please, you go there like 9:05 and I'll upload it. V Good Energy said I got the Nzinga book. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. The Queen Zinga book is a family thing. So I appreciate y'all for supporting. Spoiled Brat 67 says the Queen Zinga book was so good. I love to hear that. So here's the story behind the Queen Zinga book. So my wife started to as she was reading to the kids, realized that there aren't enough stories of us out there, and so she wrote a bunch of books. Actually, she wrote a bunch of different books that are our stories, right? And so because there weren't enough of our stories out there, she wrote the book, and then eventually for the kids, and eventually we put it out there. And so I'm so happy that the books are selling. Please support it. We have others, right? It is sold out. It is sold out. We the Queen Zinga book is sold out. We're waiting for more copies to come in. So once those copies come in, I'm gonna update that. And the Kanye book is actually, it says sold out right now, right? If you go to shop.mindrightmoney.com, the Making Sense of Kanye book is sold out right now, but I have 80 copies, and so I'm gonna update it, right? Thank you, Bass Moreno. I appreciate your support. I did see that, man. So thank you for buying that book as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna update the inventory at 9 a.m. Right. So at 9 a.m. it's like Summer Jam tickets. Like you got to keep refreshing, right? You got to refresh. But at 9 a.m. I'm gonna update the inventory. So I got 80 copies. So be on the lookout. Purchased 2 of your books last week. Always love and support, big brother. I appreciate you, Reginald. Appreciate you. So if you didn't get copies of Making Sense of Kanye, I'm giving away for free. It's free. There's no price attached to it. All you gotta do is pay for shipping. All right. I got like 5 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all, because I didn't answer any questions, but I wanted to get to this last story, or should I save it for tomorrow? Let me get to this last story, and then I guess tomorrow, we're gonna talk about. I'll answer questions because I had a lot to say today. But NBA, I just want to get your thoughts on this. NBA players question. So you shipped to Canada? I'm not sure. I think I shipped to Canada. They'll like if you go to the website, Shopify handles the shipping or whatever. I mean, the shipping costs, but I believe that it ships to Canada as well. So yeah, you good. You good as long as you pay for shipping. You're good. So the NBA players question restart, right? And so so here's the deal, right? So there's a collision point as it relates to the NBA, right? So you know, the coronavirus emergency, you know, there's an economic recession and a sweeping movement demanding racial justice, right? And so the NBA might be your best bet, right? So the league plans to restart the season in late July at the Disney campus in Orlando, where 22 teams would enter the quarantined bubble before resuming play. This weekend, however, right, so several players led by Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irving expressed concern that playing basketball would distract from the more important Black Lives Matter movement, right? And so as one widely respected NBA player told ESPN, once we start playing basketball again, the news will turn from systemic racism to who did what in last night's game, right? And then Houston Rockets guard Austin Rivers countered on Instagram that resuming play could allow players to collect salaries and financially power the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm torn again, and that's why I wanted to bring this up before we ended, right? Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because at the end of the day, right? So the bottom line is this: is that if the players don't start, they stand to lose $1.2 billion in salaries this season. This is based on according to ESPN, and so far they have already lost $300 million. So on one hand, it's like, it's true, right? It's true. Is that like, if they restart NBA, it's going to distract. Like, the reason why there's so much light, you know, that's being shed on racial injustice and all these different things is because there's no distractions. You know, I talked about this earlier. In ancient Rome, that's what happened, right? When you think about Greece and Rome and all these places, they had these sports to distract the everyday person from thinking about their real lives. Like police brutality, people getting killed, like that's real life. And so now you got people like, yo, nah, we're not playing ball, because if we play ball, it'll add that distraction. But if you don't go back, now you're taking money out of people's mouths and pockets who can support. So I don't know. I don't know what's your thoughts on that, because I'm torn. I'm all for people making a salary and making their money, but I also appreciate the fact that the right voices are being amplified, you know, at this time, right? Nadira says playing ball is the shiny object. I agree, it's a shiny object. You know what I'm saying? They want to get back to the plantation. We don't need to fund the Black Lives Matter movement. We need the top three, like you said. Exactly. That's what I agree with. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, and just in case y'all don't know, and I hope this is not breaking news, but the Black Lives Matter movement is funded by George Soros, who's a white billionaire. I'm not giving an opinion. That's not an opinion about nothing. That's a fact. And I don't know what y'all thoughts on that. But it's our movement, but it's not our movement. Between highlights and plays, they will flood TV with instead of really what really matters. And so I'm against shiny objects. Right? Right. Hutch 210 says, yo, if it weren't for COVID, George Floyd could have been different. Exactly. Like it was like the perfect storm. COVID-19, sheltered in place, high unemployment rate equals where we are right now. We need our own movement. How do we start one? We're working. A lot of people are starting movements, but we'll talk about that later. I got a minute left. All right, y'all. So make sure, look, go to shop.mindrightmoney.com in about a minute or so, I'm going to post the book so y'all can have it for free. Make sure you go to the ashcashshow.com, subscribe to the show. Go to ashcashtv.com, subscribe to the channel. I love y'all. Sorry I didn't take questions today. I'm going to take them tomorrow. But I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Love y'all. Peace.